Hello, guys. I just want to present you the lessons up until the winter holiday. So it's what you're going to do today and also the 3 lessons you have next week. We're still working with Macbeth all the way through. And now, last time, you gained an overview of the play and also some of what's going on between the main characters, Lady Macbeth and Macbeth. And some of you asked about the other characters in the play, how were they, to each other, and then who killed who and all of that. And that's not the most important thing that we're gonna dig into. What we're gonna have a focus on is the relationship between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, and also the main themes, which is reality versus appearances, deception, and also ambition for power, which is exemplified in the Macbeths. So we're going to read Act 1. You're going to work with Act 1. You're not going to read all of it, but almost. So today's lesson here, Thursday, you're going to work with Act 1. You're also going to do that on Monday. So it's the same thing actually that you're going to do with all of the scenes. I've divided it into scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's structured the same way. So you're going to read, and I've told you where it is. Then you're going to watch an analysis of it. And then there are some questions for you to answer. Now, the way that I have structured it is that I've given you the analysis. So you don't have to do that. But then I want you to interpret it. And what I'm thinking about Macbeth or Shakespeare is that the themes that are going on in the plays, and it doesn't matter whether it's Romeo or Juliet or Macbeth, they're fairly simple themes. But it's the language that can be confusing and can make it seem extremely difficult. So my idea is to try to take that out of it by giving you the analysis and giving you a focus. And that way, I'm hoping that this will be a help for you so that you can interpret on some of the stuff that is relevant for you. So that's the way every scene is structured. But it's also, when I'm thinking of Macbeth, again, if we take away the funny old language, then it's just like an action movie. We have a presentation of characters in the beginning, something's going on, there's a conflict, yada, yada, yada. Then there is a lot of blood, a lot of daggers. It's just, we have a lot of metaphors to explain it that we don't have in an action movie. But it's pretty much the same thing. So try not to be too scared by the language, the old language. All right, so that was just me going off rail. But I've given you all the scenes here. So the first scene, you have to read, watch analysis, answer questions. Then in this type of play, we have some scenes that are just there to, make the characters go from one place to another. And scene 2 is one of that. So you don't have to read anything, you don't have to answer any questions, you just have to watch the analysis. Then we get to scene 3, and that's an important one. So you have to read it, watch the analysis, and answer the questions. Yeah. So moving on to that. Oh, just one thing. Here again, I've given you a focus on, which lines it is that it's important for you to, where you can find the answers. Some of the questions here are structured on what he says in the video, but it's also, something else. You can't find all of the answers in the video. You have to look in the text as well. So some of it I've given you, the lines for it. So then we move on to scene 4. Again, read, watch the video, answer these questions. Scene 5, read, watch video, answer questions. You've already read some of scene 5. These questions, they're not the same as you already that you already work with. It's something else. It's, you know, statements, and then you have to explain to me what fits her personality and, you know, where you can find it in the text. Then we have scene 6. Again, there's not much going on there. They're just going home. So watch the analysis. Scene 7, that's where, you know, things start to get interesting. Well, you know, definitely a bit more action. So read, watch the analysis, and then you have to focus on line 45 to 83 and answer the questions here. Just so you can point out here where I've just said, Lady Macbeth mocks her husband's cowardice. Altså hun siger, han er en kujon. And then you have to answer, why might this annoy him so acutely? You know, why is it that's a trigger? So the analysis, that's the part here. I've given you that. I've told you that is what she's doing. Then you have to interpret it. What does it mean? Again here, I've told you different ideas of manliness are put forward in the scene. How does Lady Macbeth's idea of what makes him a man differ from Macbeth's? So again, I've given you the analysis. The red thing is where you have to interpret it. All right, so Act 1 is what you have to do for Thursday, you know, today, and on Monday. So you have 2 lessons to do that. And then on next Wednesday, I want you to present your work to me in a summarized version. So you have to have that ready for takeoff on Wednesday. And yeah, and I've just told you what it is that I want to know, what it is that I want you to sum up from all of these questions. It is to tell me something about Macbeth. What kind of man is he? You know, does he have a dual personality? Hint, hint, he probably does. And what kind of woman is Lady Macbeth? And how do we see the themes of appearances versus reality, deception, and ambition for power? And then again, I want you to use quotes so that you can tell me where do I see it. I've written down here the groups. You're going to work in teams all the way through in your groups, and then I'll pop in when it's 9:55, 10:10, and so on. On Wednesday, when the other groups are presenting, then you have to work with Act 5. It's the same thing. Read something, watch the analysis, answer questions. Now, this scene 1, I've added that because it has one of the most famous quotes. So that's the focus of that scene. And then scene 5, that's the thing that pretty much wraps it all up. Read it and watch the analysis and answer these questions here. Then on Friday next week, you'll be working on your own. For all of these lessons, which means Thursday today, on Monday, and on Wednesday, that's all on Teams, and I'll be there. So you can ask questions if you want to. But on Friday, I'm not there because I have exam with the second year students. So Friday, you have to make a recording in your groups where you explain the work you did on Wednesday. So you have to explain Act 5, Scene 1 plus Act 5, Scene 5. And then you also have to compare Macbeth to House of Cards. And then I've given you some pointers, something that you can explain in further details. Perhaps you agree with it, perhaps you don't. And it's about Frank's quest for powers, Frank Underwood, the parallel between their marriages, the Macbeth marriage and Underwood marriage, and a parallel between Claire and Lady Macbeth, and also the use of soliloquies. And, how do we see sinister duality? Is there a comparison in characters and themes, or, what they do? So again, of course, I want you to be as specific as possible, use quotes from Macbeth and what you can remember from House of Cards. All right, I think that was it. Otherwise, remember, you're not doing Shakespeare on your own. I'm on Teams with you. All right. Bye bye.